Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and one of the things that is going to be happening in the future World of Warcraft patches is a pretty major, not really a revamp to the Maw, but a bunch of addition and changes that are going to be happening in the Maw. Whether it is for patch 9.05 or 9.1, the Maw is going to go through a lot of updates. And in this video, I kind of wanted to talk about some of those updates, because some of those things are actually really good. Right now, the Maw is this inhospitable place that doesn't want you there. But in 9.1, we're going to be spending a lot more time in the Maw because it's going to be more welcoming, or rather, we'll be busting down the door of the jailer's domain and just kind of taking over the place, really. So this is a place we'll be seeing a lot more of. So in this video, I wanted to cover all the updates of the Maw and everything inside of the Maw is going to be getting for either 9.05 or 9.1, because we here in the 9.05 could be here as early as March. So let's get into the video. First things first, the Maw is going to allow all your mounts to finally work. You will not need a very specific specialized mount anymore. 9.1 is going to allow you, with the story quest line as that progresses, eventually we'll be able to use our mounts properly. Inside of the jailer's domain, our mounts don't hear our calls, and only specific creatures of the Maw can roam safely, unless you're a druid, shaman, or a worgen. So this is going to be pretty big because a lot of players don't really want to spend a lot of time in the Maw, but also, as we talked earlier, the Maw doesn't want you there. In fact, it wants you out and tries to kick you out at every opportunity it can. So with this changing, with Maw becoming part of the regular zones you'll be visiting, that stuff is going to be completely going away. So this is great news for anybody who still hasn't gotten their Maw mount yet. However, if you are itching to finally play the Maw how the rest of the zones play, in 9.05, Blizzard will be adding a way for you to earn a Maw mount. Currently, there are two mounts that are available to ride in the Maw. Right now, one of them is Corridor Creeper, which can be gotten from Layer 8 of Twisted Corridors of Torghast. However, a lot of people still struggle with that one, so that could be out of many of you guys' reach. Then there is the Maw Sworn Soul Hunter, which can be done in the Beast Warrens, but it needs to be on a specific event. It's one of the hunts, and it's a really small chance for you to even get the mount. So you're either lucky, or you got maybe super crazy powers in Torghast. Blizzard is going to be giving you a third opportunity with 9.05, with a Feral Shadehound, which will be a kind of secrets type of quest line that isn't really given to you. You kind of have to explore them all, and they'll be adding more activities there for you to craft your mount. It'll be very similar to tinkering in Battle for Azeroth, Mechagon Island, but with a lot more rune forging aspects and a different mount that looks like a lighter shade of all those other mounts. Wowhead already has a guide on what they did on the PTR in order to get the mount, so whenever 9.05 comes out, you can either do the questline if you don't want to be spoiled and kind of explore and craft the mount yourself as like an achievement of sorts, or if you just want to get the mount just so you can move around the Maw a lot easier for your dailies, you can totally just follow a guide, which I'll probably make a video on once 9.05 comes out. In 9.1, Maw is actually going to be a zone we'll be hanging out a lot in. In fact, you'll actually be going there for your new raid, the Sanctum of Domination. This raid is going to have a couple interesting bosses in there that you might have seen in the Maw or in any of the other, I guess, Maw-like places like Torghast. Taragru, for example, is going to be one of those bosses, and there's a good chance if you've done any kind of Torghast, especially at the Layer 8, Layer 7, you might have gotten kicked out by that guy once or twice. But the Eye of the Jailer, the creature or the item or whatever it may be, the thing that kicks you out of Maw in the first place, is going to be one of the bosses. Then you also have Kel'Thuzad, Sylvanas, so it's actually going to be a place that will even house a raid. So we'll be really transitioning from a zone that's kind of, you know, a place for you to do dailies for 15 minutes at most, to a place you'll actually be hanging around a lot in. And the Maw is also going to transition and be a lot different and a lot bigger. In 9.1, you'll actually have a portion of the Maw expanded with a brand new zone called Korthia. It's technically part of the Maw, and it'll be the secret realm of mysterious creatures that's been literally pooled to the Maw with these massive chains of jailer. And it's going to be a place with a lot of creatures and secrets, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of broker stuff on there. It'll be an interesting new addition to the Maw, but it will be technically be part of the Maw as well. Now, Korthia will have a lot for us to explore, but one of the biggest things that will come with that is with Korthia, we'll also be getting some brand new mounts. We took a look at those way earlier in the week, and some of those mounts are going to be horses, even a skeletal hand that you'll literally ride, variety of different pets and such. So the Maw itself is going to be a little bit more rewarding Because right now you only get Stygia from the Maw, which has the system of you getting Stygia, giving it to Venari, maybe being able to get a conduit in there if you're lucky, maybe being able to get some sockets, which can be useful, but it just never really felt fulfilling. The Maw not only is a place just kind of wanted to get you out of there, but also staying there didn't really feel like it gave you that much. So it's going to be more like all the other zones of Maldraxxus, Revendreth, Bastion, all those places that have these rares that will drop mounts and people will be farming and doing stuff in there. So it should hopefully be a more lively place going forward. We talked about the Maw raid, so we gotta talk about the Maw gear. Those legendaries that you've been crafting, those are actually going to become sets that you will be able to actually craft and make into a full set. We don't really know the details of if any of these are going to be for PvP, PvE, normal, heroic, mythic, or whatever, but we do know that there have been a bunch of recolors of the legendary sets that we've had data mined back in the alpha and the beta, and Blizzard hasn't used a lot of those recolors until now. So it looks like a lot of those recolors will be used with the raid, and maybe even ways for you to earn those recolors inside of the Maw, like very specific unique recolors of that set. We'll maybe see a more advanced version of these if, let's say, this is to be used for a raid, because, you know, usually the mythic sets and the PvP elite sets look a little bit more emphasized than the original sets. So we'll see if Blizzard makes any adjustments going forward. One of the biggest reasons we go into the Maw is to enter Torghast, craft our legendaries and get some overruns, whether it's inside Twisted Corridors for some transmogs and mounts, or trying to get our Soul Ash for the week. It looks like Blizzard is going to be doing even more stuff inside of Torghast, which I'm really excited about. New patches, and especially the big ones, I'm hoping for a lot more powers and a lot more variety of different builds. It looks like Blizzard is going to be taking some steps towards Torghast in order to adjust it in future patches. They didn't really go into specifics, but we do have a quote. What if we instead had a rating or a score, where there is more of a spectrum, a continuum of success and trying to do better, trying to be more efficient, trying to be faster or have fewer deaths, but you have some reward to show for it. Ian Hazzikostas said, "You always want to do better, but you are never leaving empty-handed, unless you like fail on the first floor and your run ends there. That's okay." Now, Blizzard sold Torghast as this rogue-like experience, but I feel like they didn't really lean in so heavily on the rogue-like part, where it's kind of not about finishing it, but rather going as far as you can and getting all these new powers, and then the run is supposed to end eventually. So maybe they'll restructure how Torghast is, in terms of you are supposed to fail it at the end, but now you maybe will have some sort of a score system or a speed trial, and maybe even potentially leaderboards forward. Lots of people back in the beta and alpha said, how cool would it be if there was some kind of a leaderboards in Torghast itself, where you could see all these players that have gotten the fastest times for the fastest runs, or how many players have gotten the furthest or something inside of Torghast, who got the most powers, who got the most currency. So there was a bunch of different leaderboards when people did their runs to see just how far a bunch of different classes and even groups can go. I think something like that would be really cool. The more diversity of abilities would totally be great. More enemies, which Blizzard said they are going to be doing. They're going to be adding extra new enemies inside of Torghast that play differently. Layouts that are going to be a lot different. More power, so very happy to see that. And maybe they'll actually change their structure. And now that people have said that, hey, we actually kind of like Torghast, but wish there was more powers, wish there was more of this roguelike feeling inside of WoW, they might actually really truly lean in on it super hard and try to see if they can recreate that experience. Because it's definitely a unique experience. Some of the stuff you can do inside of Torghast is really cool. I would just love some build diversity, and I would love some kind of a leaderboard system. And maybe even like an endless mode where you can literally go endless until you hit your limit. I think that would be super cool. Very similar to what they had back in the alpha and the beta, but they didn't really have a limitless system. They had a level 75 system or 72 system max, but you could go for quite a while and just really outscale the content, do some really crazy shenanigans. So maybe they'll do something like that in the future. But that's going to be everything we have so far for the Maw, as well as everything that is happening in the Maw, Torghast, and potentially new raid in 9.05 and 9.1. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Get ready to explore the Maw quite a lot, mostly once 9.1 arrives, but Blizzard is also going to give you more reason to explore it. So that's going to be very exciting. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.